Welcome to our latest explainer. Today, we are diving deep into something that every single organization needs to master: crisis communication. Look, it's not a question of if a crisis will hit, but when. So how do you build a structure that's strong enough to weather that storm? Well, today we're going to draw up the blueprint for that resilience. So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the anatomy of a crisis. Then, we'll build out the communication playbook. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of crafting the right message. We'll also tackle those digital wildfires, you know what I mean. And finally, we'll see how all of this builds the one thing that matters most: trust. Okay, let's jump right in. Section 1, the anatomy of a crisis. Before you can ever hope to manage a crisis, you have to understand what you're up against. So, what really happens when things go completely sideways? Let's start by just putting ourselves in that situation for a minute. Imagine it. The unexpected happens, there's no plan, no one knows what to do. What does that feel like from the inside, for the people on the ground and for the company as a whole? It feels like this, just 3 words, but they are absolutely devastating. First, there's chaos. People are running around, no one has answers, and every question just leads to another question. Then, in that vacuum, misinformation takes over. It spreads like wildfire, both inside the company with rumors and outside with public speculation. And then comes the biggest killer of all: eroding trust. With every minute that ticks by without a clear response, that foundation of trust you built with everyone, it just starts to crumble. So how do you fight that? How do you stop the bleeding? You can't just wing it. You have to be prepared. Which brings us to Section 2, the communication playbook. This is where we stop talking about the problem and start building the solution. It's about having a structured plan before the storm hits. At its heart, what we're talking about isn't just sending out a press release. It's the absolute cornerstone of managing the whole mess. The magic formula is right there. It has to be clear, timely, and transparent. Think of it like a 3-legged stool. You take one of those legs away, and the whole thing comes crashing down. And this is the bedrock of your playbook. Your response absolutely has to be built on these 4 cornerstones. You need accuracy, because facts are your best weapon against rumors. You need consistency, so that everyone from the CEO to the front desk is telling the same story. You need empathy, to show you actually understand how this is affecting real people. And you need speed, because an information vacuum is your absolute worst enemy. The real art here is balancing all of them. You have to be fast, for sure, but never at the expense of being accurate. That's a tough tightrope to walk. Okay, we've got our playbook, we know the principles. Now, let's get our hands dirty. Welcome to Section 3, crafting the right message. This is where the rubber meets the road. How do you actually take those principles and turn them into words that will get you through this? Before you write a single sentence, you have to get this in your head. Your #1 goal is not to dodge the blame. It's to demonstrate accountability. It's about owning the situation, stepping up, and making it clear that you are committed to making things right. Honestly, it is the fastest way to start rebuilding that broken trust. And here's a simple formula for how to build that message. It's a 1-2-3 punch. First, you have to address public concern. Acknowledge what people are scared or angry about. It shows you're actually listening. Second, you provide reassurance. Tell them what you're doing right now to contain the problem. And third, you show clear accountability, just like we said. Name who's in charge of the response and lay out the next steps. Simple, but so powerful. Okay, let's fast forward to the world we live in now with Section 4. We're talking about navigating digital wildfires. Because today, a crisis doesn't just unfold on the evening news, it explodes across Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, you name it. It's a modern information battlefield, and you better have a plan. And on that battlefield, you really only have 2 choices. You can be on the left with a proactive strategy where you are controlling the narrative and setting the agenda. Or you can be on the right in a reactive position where you're constantly just countering misinformation and responding to others. The entire point of this playbook is to keep you firmly planted on the left side of this chart. You want to lead the conversation, not chase it. And all of this brings us to our final and most important section: the foundation of trust. This is the so what. This is the why. Why do we put in all this work? Why do we plan and prepare? What is the real, ultimate payoff of doing this right? This quote really just nails it. The whole point is to get your organization to a place where it can communicate confidently and cohesively, even when the pressure is immense. Because when you can pull that off, you achieve the ultimate prize. You protect your reputation, and you hold on to the confidence of your employees, your customers, your investors, everyone who counts on you, right when it matters most. So, we'll end on this thought. Every single organization will, at some point, face its critical moment. The thing that separates the ones that survive from the ones that crumble is preparation. After seeing this blueprint today, the question isn't whether your moment will come. It's much simpler. Are you prepared for it? Because this architecture we've talked about, it's not just good policy, it's the very foundation of resilience.